Hello. In this module, you will explore realism as an art movement of the mid to late 19th century and as a reaction to Enlightenment and Romantic ideals as reflected by the art and literature of the realist movement. Realism is widely considered the beginning of modern art. Literally, this is due to its conviction that everyday life in the modern world were suitable subjects for art. Philosophically, realism embraced the progressive aims of modernism, seeking new truths through the re-examination and overturning of traditional systems of values and beliefs. The movement concerned itself with how life was structured socially, economically, politically, and culturally in the mid-19th century. This led to unflinching, sometimes ugly portrayals of life's unpleasant moments. The art movement began in France during the 1840s, following a turbulent half-century with multiple revolutions and leadership changes, starting with the French Revolution and throughout the revolutions of 1848 that spread across parts of Europe. A time when the Industrial Revolution and the Enlightenment ideas had been spreading across Europe, bringing about many cultural, economic, and technological changes. Realism responded to this ever-changing political and social upheaval, as well as the changing artistic perspective on what was suitable for art by focusing on a simple representation of everyday people in everyday unglamorized acts, as opposed to the fanciful high-class academy or salon-based traditional art forms and subject matter. Realist painters depicted common laborers and ordinary people going about their contemporary life of the period, often being engaged in real activities in everyday surroundings. The style also used simple, basic details which stood out in contrast to the pretty and fanciful detail of the previous styles of art. It would take a while for the art to become popular outside of France, as it took until the 1860s for it to start developing in countries like Russia, England, and America. Though never a coherent group, realism is recognized as an artistic movement which rejected traditional forms of art, literature, and social organization as outmoded in the wake of the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution. Realism revolutionized the arts, expanding conceptions of what constituted art, and refused to look at life, the individual, and society through the Gothic gloom and mellow moonshine of romance. When asked why he never painted angels, Courbet, the leading exponent of realism, declared, "Show me an angel and I will paint one." Perhaps this is the best encapsulation of the realist manifesto. Working in a chaotic era marked by revolution and widespread social change, realist painters replaced the idealistic images and literary conceits of traditional art with real-life events, giving those on the margins of society similar weight and value as the former grand history paintings and mythological allegories. Their choice to bring everyday life into their canvases was an early manifestation of the modernist desire to merge art and life, and the rejection of many pictorial techniques, such as perspective in painting, prefigured the many 20th century definitions and redefinitions of modernism. Here are some key ideas and accomplishments. Realism was the first explicitly anti-institutional, nonconformist art movement because realist artists took aim at the social mores and values of the bourgeoisie and the monarchy. Though they continued submitting works to the salons of the official Academy of Art, they also rebelliously mounted independent exhibitions to show their work. In this way, while not the first art to protest social ills, consider Goya and the Disasters of War series, realism brought in a new conception of the artist as activist. Gustave Courbet, Edouard Manet, and others purposefully courted controversy and used this to enhance their celebrity in a manner that continues among the artists to this day. So here are some key points to remember. Realists revolted against the exotic subject matter and exaggerated emotionalism of the Romanticists that had dominated literature and art since the late 18th century. Realist works depicted people of all classes in ordinary life situations, which often reflected the changes brought on by the industrial and commercial revolutions. Realists tended to showcase sordid or squalid elements in their paintings. Important figures in the realist artist movement were Gustave Courbet, Honoré Daumier, and Jean-François Millet. Realism arose in opposition to Romanticism, which had dominated French literature and art since the late 18th century. Realist painters often depicted common laborers and ordinary people in ordinary surroundings engaged in real activities as subjects for their works. Courbet is known as the main proponent of realism, and his paintings challenged convention by depicting idealized peasants and workers, often on a grand scale, traditionally reserved for paintings of religious or historical subjects. Here's a list of some of the important realist painters. Daumier in France, Courbet, Millet, Aikens, Homer, and Wyeth in America, Repin in Russia. Some realist writers include Balzac from France, George Eliot, really Marianne Evans in England, Henry James in America, Flaubert, France, Howells, Crane, Norris, Warton, Dreiser, Gorky, Chekhov. All of these are fantastic writers dealing with the social ills of their contemporary societies. So enjoy this section, enjoy the art, and get real.